An advocate is compassion.
An advocate is necessary.
An advocate is brave.
An advocate is a partner.
An advocate is courage.
An advocate is a mentor.
Our first group, we had Rhea and myself and a social work intern. I think we probably had about 10-ish, give or take, young people in our first group of what was then called Juveniles for Justice. And we used to meet weekly, eat, snack, talk about the justice system, think about what worked about it, if anything, and what didn't, and kind of try to unpack what it was that we wanted to see in the world.
We would have around the first 1 or 2 weeks, it was always icebreaker. We do icebreaker every day, but the beginning, it would be all about how you want to share your story. When you're in the system, you think you're going through certain stuff by yourself, or you don't think that many people share the same story as you. I was surprised that a lot of the youth advocates and some of the similar situations that we all were going through.
So this right here is the educational toolkit that we created for the Love of Success. We formatted the educational piece for foster youth in a guide, basically putting together a bunch of resources for the foster youth. Because a lot of the foster youth that worked on the project and had a lot of experience with the educational system felt like it wasn't a lot of resources. Knowing I had a part of it, actually, it just made me happy, and it made it feel like everything we did and all the things we went through, sharing our stories and all the footwork we put in was worthwhile.
Speaking to legislators to try to get life without parole ended in PA, and then it was ended, and then doing working and networking with the people who were released due to that. Sometimes you get, tangible things that make you feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing something for the world. I'm doing something positive. I'm not just talking.
All of us care about this work. We come to this work for different reasons as advocates. But to say that you get to engage in efforts alongside the very young people that you tend to represent in the courtroom, and that you can partner with them on changes for other young people who might not have that opportunity because they're in prison or still in foster care. And you can say, we passed a law that's going to effectively, change someone's life, whether it's our young people at JLC or other young people, who are in our program. I think that's a phenomenal thing.
When we was working on our plan to get an ombudsman person in Philly, we was talking about as a group, me and the other youth advocates, we wanted one because majority of us didn't feel safe reaching out for help when we needed it.
I remember giving my testimony to City Council and writing an op-ed and sharing my thoughts with my fellow friends who are also youth advocates, and we really pushed the point home, and we finally got it, and the Ombudsman office is now a thing.
Because of their testimony, I 100% believe that is why we got the first allotment for the Youth Ombuds budget, and how we were able to push through and ultimately hold the city accountable for really having a purpose and a vision for the office.
Youth advocates played a critical role in the passage of Act 1 in 3 ways. First, they're the ones who identified the problem and said we needed a legislative solution. Second, they sat through revision after revision of the draft. We would go back to them and say, is this answering the problem? And they would put their comments in and their edits, and we'd sit down and talk about it. And third, they're fierce, effective advocates for change. A lot of ways it's that lawyers don't think outside the box. They don't think expansively. They're not understanding the intricacies of the harm that they're seeing. They tend to see a problem and grab for, oh, this must be it, instead of getting to the root cause of the problem.
We decided to focus on housing for older youth who are transitioning between 18 to 21 range, and we First, we met with a lot of organizations in the city to kind of learn about homelessness and what living kind of looks like, and are there stipends that are being given to like older youth, and what supports are set in place or the lack of supports that are being set in place. And we use all of that info to host a town hall that we had in City Hall in June of last year.
I think given the success that this model has had and the direct impact that it's had on the youth that are in the program and that can speak to the benefits that they've received in being in the program, I think it's a model that will continue to be replicated across the country and the world. I think one of the things that I've seen personally is that youth are the true experts when it comes to policy change in this area, and so I think they need to be front and center.
People are moved, and especially when we're dealing with unjust systems, people have to be moved for justice, and that's what the project does.
Youth advocacy is important because hope is important. Hope is what drives you through low moments. Hope is what keeps you going, even when it seems like there's no end or no avail. And hope is what creates a community.
A leader is strong.
A leader is a problem solver.
A leader is trustworthy.
A leader immerses themselves.
A leader is created by leaders.
My dad is a leader.